I think you can see my screen. So what I have discussed, the classical waterfall model, iterative model, prototype model, and also just mention that in the spiral model only, there is one factor, risk factor. Only spiral model, we can see risk factor is considered. So you can see just have a study of this. You need to study this thing. Just I will write this thing before writing the today's topic. Requirement. First one is requirement analysis and specification, and then this design part, system design, then coding and module wise testing, unit wise testing. Then comes integration and overall, that means system testing, alpha testing, beta testing, acceptance testing, and then finally maintenance. So at the beginning, we need to study, that is, we need to make a feasibility study, that is, it is possible to develop the software or not. So after feasibility study, we need to plan, that is, there's a particular, that is start of a start, we can say, software project management. Software project management. And it's a huge thing. So only a few things we will discuss, that is within this 2 classes. Project management. Only those things will come in interview and also technical round and also other PSU. Since you have computer science background and CS background, so these things are also required. Just like in ISRO. Why I say ISRO? Because it's in other things also NIELIT, but in ISRO is comparatively similar to GATE examinations. Okay, software project management is this today's topic. Before we meet the client, that is, we gather the requirements of the clients, that is users, and we prepare the software requirement specification document, SRS document, and finally go to the, that is, designing the algorithm, coding, testing, so on. So there's a start before that. So there's a plan to be made by the project manager before the that is requirements analysis. Okay. So what is software project management, or why we need to do? The target is that in project management we need to hire, or you need to some set of software developers, so that our target is to make the project successful. We have to completely and successfully make the project. So that is our target. So project manager, what he or she will do, or it can be multiple project managers also. In software project manager, has 2 tasks, only 2 tasks. But this I am saying only, but it's a huge task. One is planning. That is, the project manager should plan about the project. Project planning. And then that is, you all know what is the role of a manager. Project monitoring the entire thing, monitoring and controlling. In our scope, we'll discuss project planning. And project planning, what actually plans? Actually, I have already mentioned project management is actually mostly done before sitting with the customer or client. And also, sir, not entirely. I have already mentioned all the steps are overlapping. Also, we can improve our planning later on. But still, planning should be initially you have to draw the plan. You have to make a plan. What is the plan? You do not have the actual idea of what the user will require. So based on the experience and also some estimates. So estimate calculation I will show you. So you can estimate here. So I am writing here estimate. Estimation is required. Why estimation? So our topic of today and next class, project planning. Project planning. So why what to estimation and why estimation? Because it is after feasibility study, we do the plan before the requirements analysis. That is why. Now, sir, you are saying estimation several times. What we need to estimate? What are the things that we do in project planning? So I am writing one by one. Project planning. What are the activities in project planning? Estimation. So what to estimate? Estimate means we do not know the actual. We are trying to guess or make the guesswork so that we can get the that idea prior before implementation. Okay. So we can see that what just here we can I have mentioned that estimation of what we need to know the budget, the cost can be one estimate, one parameter you can say. That is one parameter that we can estimate. That is how much cost it should be to develop the software. Next is time span, is duration that can take, that we can, that is so that you can hire some number of workers. Then effort. How you can calculate the effort? I will, that is today and somewhat, and next day you can see effort. Mainly next day you can see. Then size of the project. Today I will show you what actually the size of the project means. It can be lines of code. It can be the functionalities, programmable functionalities also. I will show you. But these are the parameters. Most important parameter is size estimation. So before going to discuss anything today, that's why I devote this day, and generally that's why the questions come also from size. Not only for the technical questions, also for the understanding purpose. Size you have to know, and size is the most important parameter. It's helpful to estimate the project. Next is that scheduling. So you have to properly schedule. That is your task. Scheduling the to-do list. You can also make an analogy. Also, that means scheduling means how many schedules for the task, and also the resources you require. Okay, and you have to know about the staffing the organization. That is staff members you require. Okay, and also then risk analysis. What the risk associated and what you need to be careful, and also other things are quality assessment, etc. Quality assessment. So in short, since I have told you too many things, in short I can give you some that is within a few seconds I can give you the summary. After feasibility study, before meeting the clients to prepare the requirements analysis and specification document, we need to do the project planning. Okay, and based on the planning, the project manager will monitor. That is when the design algorithm designing, coding, these things and maintenance will be going on. The project manager will monitor it. Okay, so in our topic is today is project planning. That is we have to estimate. That is a plan based on some estimation. Or better to say, you can say our topic is estimation. So first of all, I will show you how to estimate the in place of other things. We can estimate cost, duration, whatever. So first I will show you how to estimate the size. And one thing, just in short, I want to mention one thing that here, once project planning is done, you need to do after project planning. That term you should remember. You need to prepare the document. I have mentioned that everywhere you need to prepare the document. This document has a particular term, SPMP. What is it? Software Project Management Plan. Software, in short, SW. Software Project, in short, Project Management Plan. SPMP document. What are the things there? You can see in my notes, introduction, project estimates, schedule, everything, that sub-organization, that is team structure. Okay. So that means the schedule, that's when you need to, what should be the deadline of the particular teams, like this. Now comes to the estimation of size. Project size estimation. So what does project size means? Then I will show you the project size estimation metrics. First, what is project size? Project size is actually that particular measurement about the related to the project complexity. Project size is total project complexity. In terms of, if I write project size means project complexity in terms of time and effort. In terms of time and effort. So what are the metrics there? One is lines of here code, LOC, lines of code, LOC. Another is function point. First of all, I will discuss lines of code. That is, lines of code, you can see that that you can visualize. It will come to your visualization a particular number of lines of code. That is a problem code. Some 10 lines of code in whatever the language, maybe C language, or it can be C++, Java, Python, whatever the language. Some lines of that is what you write in programming, in any programming language. Some lines will come. So based on this, the effort actually is measured. The size, actually, better to say, size is measured. Size of the project is measured. So there are some trade-offs. What actually these trade-offs? I will discuss the pros and cons. Advantage is that it is very simple. I will give you one example of two programs. Both the programs are doing the same job. Otherwise, we cannot analyze it. So there is a for loop. I less than equal to say 10. I plus plus. Printed. So you can see it is a C programming language. Another one, writing the same simple one, but in this way with parentheses. Not here, say here. Print I. What is the LOC here and what is the LOC here? Here LOC means lines. Lines of code means number of lines, total number of lines in the program, excluding blank line. Blank line, there is no one space between two lines, blank line. Then excluding the headers and also excluding the comment lines. Okay. So what is the number of lines here? Lines of code here, 2. What is the lines of code here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 here. If I add one comment line, suppose end for loop, will it be 4 or 5? It will remain 4, right? It will remain 4 still, because command line will not consider. So that means it is easy to calculate the lines of code. If that is, we use lines of code as the metric to estimate the size. Of course, you can argue that, sir, you are saying that again, how we can estimate. That's why I am using the term estimate. That means we cannot know the actual size of the program before we actually start implementation, or we actually get our requirements even. We did not have anything. We are estimating it. So that is the thing. Sorry. So I have mentioned this, the advantage of this LOC. But there are several drawbacks, several cons or drawbacks there. What are drawbacks? Just one by one I am mentioning. You can see it is dependent on the programming language. That any programming language, you can see that if you are implementing some program, particular program in C, and you are your friend is implementing that same program in Python. So where, in which programming language the lines of code will be more, in C or Python?
So C.
C is more. Actually, this is the answer, right answer. That's the correct answer. Okay. Now, that means it is dependent on your programming language. So that means your size of the your project is dependent on the programming language. If you are using Python, then your size of code will be less. Depends on programming language. Also, it depends on the that is, you can see that the coding style. I have last day I have mentioned that coding guideline I have mentioned. Still, even if we are providing you the your developers that these are the guidelines that you can use. Of course, your target is that you can that is, you can implement your project with less lines of code. Because lines of code is higher, then effort will be higher, and also time will require much. But also another thing is in the other side of it, that if you are less using, suppose you are intelligently using something, next I will come to that. Your lines of code is less. That means you are less means not that you have not implemented all this. Less means you have optimized your code. You have that is somewhat you have used some functions, built-in functions there, or reused some functions. That means you have intelligently made or reduced your code. But if you reduce your code, your lines of code is less, means again the size of the project is depend on the lines of code. So size of a project is less. So that means your effort will be less. So project manager will think that you have given less effort. That is also another thing. Of course, your target is to produce this thing with less number of code. But another thing is that another point, that is the drawback here. So less number of code also suggests that you have given less effort, or your that your particular module, your the module you have implemented has taken less effort or less time. So there actually you will not get the advantage. So I can write penalizes code reusability. This is a great power of high-level programming language, code reusability. Code reusability. But code reusability means what? You can use, suppose you have written a function, but you need the function 10 times. So you will not write the same function 10 times. So rather, you will just call the function 10 times. Or you have built-in function, so you can call it. So that means if you use the built-in functions or same, or you can reuse the code, that means lines of code will be reduced. That means size of your project will reduce. That means effort will look like your effort is less. So that if such thing is encouraged, so developers will not be interested to reduce the code. So they will try to somehow that is increase the lines of code so that it is not looks like that you have provided less. That's a real scenario. So that is penalizes. That means you are not giving the advantage, or you are not aware. That is their intelligence is not being awarded if they use less. That is code reusability, less line of code. Another thing is that we LOC actually I am saying from the beginning lines of code. That means related to the programming language. That is related to coding itself. But you can see this actually the you can see the if we say in terms of software project management, it is not about the coding. You can see in the diagram I have written this a classical waterfall. So there are, except coding, there are other phases like algorithmic designing, testing, maintenance. These things are there also. So you are not you are interested in LOC means you are giving the idea based on your programming language. So your project is measured based on the programming language only, nothing else. So that is another drawback. So it is LOC gives the idea, coding activity only. Activity only. Sorry. So, but you can see you need to total effort. Actually, total effort is not about the coding. Also involves designing, testing, like this. These are the drawbacks. And also another drawback I can say here, last but not the least, that complexity. The same problem. You have taken 10 lines of code, say 100 lines of code. Same problem. You have, and also suppose C programming language you are using. Same 100 lines of codes are used, both the cases. But not that they have used 100 lines of code. That is, LOCs are same in both. Here, in one programming language, that is in one programming language, one implementation rather, LOC is 100. Another implementation, even if it is C, it is 100. But not, you cannot assure that complexities should be same. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, I can elaborate it. Complexity cannot be same in both the cases. Even if we are writing in C programming, in somewhere we can use that there are some, it is the code is not so much optimized. There are so many loops are there I have used, even if it is 100 lines. But even if it is 100 lines, maybe that I have not used so much for loops, but I have used some declarations. Sorry, declarations is not there, but I have used some like what I can say, that the spaces are there. Okay, declarations we can write in a single line, or actually declaration will not be counted, whatever. That means even if the number of lines is same, 100 and 100 both, and programming language is also same, but complexity can be different. One person can think in one way, another person can think in different way. So complexities can be different. So LOC cannot give you that idea also. So several ideas cannot be given. This is dependent on programming language. Also, it is actually varied from different person to person also. So that's why we use another one, another metric. So what is the metric here? One metric is LOC. Another is, what is the metric for? Size estimation. Another metric is function point. Function point. So what is function point here? It is the thing. It is a metric which is actually based on the user perspective. User perspective. So I will give you the details. So what are actually the function points? So there are how many function points are there? A total function point we have to measure today. Okay. So any system can have five function points. Just a minute. Based on user's perspective. User's perspective. So what does it mean? हमने क्या मतलब क्लाइंट क्या चाहा था और उसको क्या मिला? So what user gets actually that you can see expect some MCQ based on this. In which of the metric is the only metric where which is based on the user's perspective? The answer is function point. So this is the metric. Okay. So what actually user is requiring from the software and what actually user is getting. So what are the function points? What are the function points there? So there are 5 function points there, or 5 types of functional units, you can also say. So one is there, say external logical files. External logical files. I'll also give the short form ELF. I'll use it several times. Number 2 is here. You can see that internal logical files. Is ILF. Actually, you can see that it is external logical files. So you can see just I am explaining it, but better you can use. So simply external interface files. Next is inputs, outputs. Sorry, 3 external inputs in short, inputs, external outputs, and last one is here external enquiries, EQ. Same. Okay. So what is there? External interface files or logical files. So files means the data structure also that stored, also physical files stored in the, you can say also in hard drives like this. So interface files means external interface files means that means these are not available in our system. So we can that is we need to import these files from the other system. That is, we have some reference to the systems, external systems, and also that another thing, internal logical files. Internal logical file means that logical means what? Logical means some control information, right? So those are internal means that are present in the software. We can use logical, but interface better because though logical, there's control information there, but interface means actually there is, we can get some links. Actually, external means we should have, it is not available in our system. We should have some links there. And inputs means external inputs provided to the system and external output that is going out from the system, and that is being displayed, suppose, or as an output, and inquiries. what are the inquiries provided by the users to the system or software. For example, in employees, that is database like employee management system, create employee. So in create employee, you have to give the employer age, name, salary as inputs, and based on that you can make some queries that what are the range of the salaries for particular that is age group, and corresponding you can get some outputs. So these are the 5 functional points. Now we have to measure the points, functional points. So how to measure it? So that you need to require, and some of the values I will provide, but just let me write down first how to measure the function points. So there are 3 steps. Everywhere you can see there are 3 simple steps are there. So each functional point, that is out of the 5, each functional point is associated or marked with complexity factors. What are the complexity factors? There are 3 complexity factors: low, average, and high. Complexity means the complexity of the problem or project. Next, okay, just give me, let me write down the complexity factors I have written. So I am writing here the functional units weighting factors low. There are 3 complexity classes: average and high. Low, average, and high. So there are like input, external output, external inquiry, and then internal files, then external interfaces, like this. So the values I have with me. So I am writing. So you can find in any literature. So I am writing one by one. 346, 346, then 457, 457. You cannot memorize it, and it will provide 3, 4 if it is given. So 346 and 7, 10, 15, and then 5, 7, 10. These are provided. Okay. So this is marked. The step 1. What is step 2 there? Step 2 is to calculate a particular value, which is UFP, unadjusted function point, UFP. You have to calculate UFP. So how to calculate? There's a formula. So nothing to worry about. So there's a formula to calculate UFP. I'll write this one. So I have already mentioned that for every functional type EIEO, there's a particular weight value. So if EI, suppose if we are saying that the complexity of the problem or project is average, so EI value will be 4, EO value will be 5, like this. Okay. And also quantities, that is how many inputs are there, how many outputs are there, it will provide. So number of inputs. So it is generally written as Z EI will be multiplied with the complexity value of EI. This is a W value of EI plus number of outputs multiplied with complexity values of outputs. Similarly for EQ, ILF, EQ. Similarly for ILF. Similarly for the last one also, Z, EIF, W, E, I, F. That is very simple. I think you can understand. Still, if you have any doubt, you can stop me and ask me right now. Now, the last, actually not another one, the last one you can say, you can, the final you can calculate the final function point. Just multiply UFP, this is UFP times another value we have, CAF, complexity adjustment factors. Okay, it is unadjusted. You have to adjust it. That means why adjustment? You can see in COCO model next day. This is also important one. In case of intermediate COCO model, you can see. In real scenario, you have to, that is, we are estimating, right? So based on the experience, we have to, that is, it is already experimented. These values we can, I am providing the formula. This already, so many researchers have already done. So based on that, you can see that particular formula is there. So adjustment means what? Since that is, you can see in your labs also, in suppose you say it cannot be digital lab, but let's say analog lab, just I can give some similarity, not exactly similarity can be there, like what are the value in the readings. You can see here some offsets are there, right? So that means what are the value we can get that are somewhat not similar, that is somewhat deviated from the real scenario. That's you have to adjust. So this CAF is actually for the adjustment factor, complexity adjustment factor. Complexity adjustment factor. Okay, so how to calculate this factor? So again, another research already this is done. This is times I equal to 1 to 14 FI. Now you can ask me, of course, what is FI? FI is actually there. That is, there are 14 questions there. So like 14 questions can be the 14 questions can be like, that is transaction rates, response time. Okay, so there's several questions are there. Not several, 14 questions are there. So 14 questions are scaled. The answers to the 14 questions are scaled in such a way, like it can be answered just like a Google form. You can see 0 to 5. Say scaling is like 0 to 5. So if someone writes 0 for a particular question, someone answers 0, that means it is not useful at all, no importance, and that is poor to good or best. You can see in this way. 5 means high, that is most important. You can say most important. 3 is average. Rest of the things I am not writing here. You can see in your literature. Incidental. Okay, I'm writing in short. Incidental, and another one you can see that it is somewhat not average, moderate, and 4 is, you can see that it is not most important, but it's significant, somewhat less than most important, significant. So 3 is average. Generally, we mostly give this thing 0, 3, and 5 in numerical problems. 3 means average. Okay, so you can easily calculate. So now I will give you one problem. So given that is some values I will be provided, that just I have the values with me. Given the following values, say given the following values, calculate FP. There's final FP, of course. Calculate FP provided all the complexity adjustment factors and weighting factors also. Weighting factors are average. Are average. So this is the thing. So what are the values I will just writing? So here complexity adjustment factors, that is average. That means all the Fi values, F1, F2, F3 up to F14, all the values are of 3. And W, you can see that is weighting factors here. In this, you have to look for this column, average column, nothing else. The values number of EI, number of this EO I am writing here. It is say 40 EO, say whatever, okay. Also that EQ is say 30. Then take simple values so that I can easily calculate. IF interfaces, say 20. External EIF, fine. Internal logical files, ILF say 30 again. Okay. So these are actually 30 is not actually realistic. So that is input whatever files, actually number of files there 20, say 10. So we have to find out final FP. So to final FP, again, you know that you need to calculate UFP and CAF. So how to calculate UFP? So this is the value. This is the formula. So which column we will look for? Here, this column. So value of ZEI is 4. What is W? Sorry, WEI is 4. Here it is 4. What is the number of EI? What is the number of inputs here? 50. So 50 times 4. Then number of outputs. Number of output is say what I have written 40. Here I have written 40. Okay. So 40 times what is the weight? Weight of EO 5. So in this way we can calculate 50 times 4 plus 40 times what is the weight there? 5. So this will be provided. So in the question will be provided that the weight values of EI, EO, EF, EQ, ILF, EIF are 4, 5, 4, 10, 7 respectively. So you can calculate, and also these numbers are provided. So you can easily calculate the 30 times what? 30 times 4. EIF is 20. EIF is here 7. 20 times 7. Plus ILF is 10. ILF is 10. And also it is 10 here. W is also 10. 10 times 10. So whatever the value is, so you can calculate. Now what is the CAF value? Complexity adjustment factor. We have to adjust it with the real scenario. So it's 3. Since it is average, so it means it is 3. So CAF is 0.65 times 0.01 times what? If I inside I can calculate here FI. What is the FI value? All the FIs are 3. So there are 14 FIs. So that means 14 into 3 is 42. It is 42. So it's 0.65 plus 0.42. That means 1.09. Then we have to just multiply this whatever X I am writing. X, that is UFP value, and 1.09. And you will get the final answer. Simply. But even it's the question, that last question I have provided, it is not so much important, but important is that what is the drawbacks of LOC, and also some questions can come LOC and like this, and also drawbacks can come, and function point you can see what are the types of function points and what are the how many questions there. Okay, what is actually CAF, and last one, The problem you may skip, but actually it will be better if you understand the problem. Your understanding will be somewhat better. And one drawback, just one drawback is there of functional point also, functional point measurement. Here we actually measure the actually here the complexity. Here, what is the complexity of the project? But in the complexity, we consider all the complexities there, but except the algorithmic complexities. In function point, we do not consider algorithmic complexities. So two, that is remedy is there. Another function, not function point, it is feature point. That is how much your algorithm will be complex, or how much more your algorithmic complexity will be, your effort will be more. So function point says that more the algorithmic complexity, it will lead to more effort and more time. Okay, and not that always more effort is always desired every time. You can understand that needs to be assessed. Okay, and next day, that numerical problems you cannot skip from COCOMO model. And next I will discuss, and also because that's why I am mentioning, because I will get only one class before this cycle, within this cycle up to 8 May. So next day, that is I will try to cover this cyclomatic complex coupling also. Yeah, coupling, not numerical, but questions come coupling. And numerical is another cyclomatic complexities. That is, code will be given, and you have to find out the cyclomatic complexities based on the loops, branches there. And also UEML, you cannot skip. And in any interview, I will suggest that also for whatever the software job maybe, since I am saying that you can see the interviewer may ask that why you are interested in our company. So in here you have to be prepared for not only that the you are applying for attractive packages there, but also you can that is try to relate yourself with that with the job, that actually job roles and your skills, your interest. You have to explore somewhat. That's my personal opinion. So I'm